Good morning, everybody. This is Mr. Lowe. Today we're looking at lesson 13 and 14 for hands-on equations. So let's go ahead and get started. What we have now is just really the same thing we've been doing. It's just a little bit more complicated. So we want to set this up and see what we have. So let's go get two x's. And we will set those up on the board. I go get a star, a3, whoops, a3, two stars, and a 15. So we have a lot of different options that we can do. Some of us may want to see that we have a 0 here. We may want to pull those off, which we totally can do. One thing that your book is going to, the program is going to say is, probably the first thing we should do is subtract a red 3 from each side. We want to get our cubes on one side. That'll help us figure out what we need to do next. So if we subtract 3 from 15, that's going to give us 12 over here. Now I need to isolate those numbers so I can take one star off of both sides. And I still need to pull this guy off. This is where we can use the information we had from lesson 11 and 12, where we did one of two things. We either added a 0, so I can go ahead and create and add a 0. So I take a 0 and I want to add it to this left side. That's going to allow me to take off my stars, which would give me 3x. Oh, that's a horrible x. There we go, 3x equals 12. That would mean that x is 4 and star is -4. So that would be probably the easiest way to do it. You could also have solved this by adding white pawns to both sides. We could have also have solved this by subtracting that 0 first. It's just a couple of more steps. There's a lot of different steps that are involved, but it's nothing new. So we want to go ahead and do our check. That means wherever I see a star or an X, I'm going to put the number 4. And wherever I see a star, I'm going to put the number -4. And then let's do some math. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus a -4 is 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. And on the other side, I have 2 times -4 is -8. And -8 plus a +15 is 7. So my check is 7, check 7. And again, I apologize for the poor writing on my part, but my mouse isn't working very well. So let's reset the page. Let's go on and do another example. So again, looks like a big math problem. We're just going to go ahead and set it up. So I want to go grab 3 stars, put those on, add my x, add my 5, add another star on this side, and I can add a 12. That would be a 2 and a 10. So again, let's take off the 0. So we have a 0 on this side. We know we can take that off, so we're going to do that. I have x's or stars on both sides. I can take those down. Now I can subtract 5 from both sides. 12 minus 5 is 7. So again, guys, as we're looking at this, it's really not too terribly difficult. It's exactly everything we have put together over the last couple of days. You're just going to go ahead and choose how you want to solve it. Let's see if we can solve this in a different manner. So we're going to look at this same exact problem. So now I want to do this. I put my 3 stars up, put my x up, put my 5, put my 12, and a star. Now instead of taking the zeros off, let's subtract 5 from both sides. So I take away 5 here, I take away 10 minus 12, 12 minus 5 is 7. Now I can take away an X or a star from both sides, and now I can take my 0 and take that off. And you still will get 1 star equals 7. So if star is equal to 7, X will be equal to -7. And you're just going to plug in your numbers here, and we're going to work it that way. Take a look at lesson 14. Lesson 14 gets a little bit more complicated, but we want to put 2 x's up there. So go grab 2 x's. Now it says I have to subtract a star. Well, I don't have a star up there to start with. So in order for me to subtract a star, we got to add a 0. Now I can subtract a star. And on the other side, we're going to get 12. And now we're looking at 3x equals 12. That means x is 4 and star is -4. So we just go ahead and plug it in here. So I got 4 here and I've got a -4. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting. So this is kind of neat too. I know that 2 times 4 is 8. But now I have to subtract a -4. Well, I don't have a -4, right? I know, mathematically speaking, every subtraction problem can be turned into an addition problem by adding the opposite. So we would do 8 plus 4, which is 12. But let's just go ahead and prove that. So let's say, let me make these a little bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 that I have. I need to subtract a -4. Well, in order for me to subtract a -4, I would have to add a 0 on there. So we're going to say that a green and a white dot together is going to be a 0. So when I do that, I'm going to put 4 zeros on my board. And again, I'm just kind of doing this off to the side. So there's my 4 zeros. Now I can take away my negatives. So if green is positive, white is negative. Now I can subtract a negative because I'm taking these off. So if I cross those out now, that's going to leave me with 8 here and 4 here. 8 plus 4 is 12. So I will get 12 equals 12. We're going to practice this quite a bit today because this is something that's new. It's going to be a little confusing, but you will be okay. All right. Hey, Mrs. Cozy Arms. Have a great day, everybody.